Welcome to From the Bottoms to the Top. I am your host, Derek Swain. And you know I always got my co-host with me.
Anthony Wolford. How you guys doing today?
We have a very special guest. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Richard Hundley. We have Richard Hundley, Advanced One McKeever Real Estate broker. Thank you for being here, Richard.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. So I just got to know, what started and what got you in real estate as an agent?
What's your bottoms to the top story?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I started off in Louisiana working at a chemical plant, working shift work. Talking to the older guys there, they all warned me, said if you stay here too much longer, you get married, this and that, that's it, you're stuck here forever. I said, no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
So one night at the chemical plant, I was told to go check out this gauge, and it was way up on top of this vessel. And I got up there, and it was so cold, and I had to pee. So I peed right there. It froze. That's it. Walked down. Came all the way down, walked in the control room, threw my hard hat on the floor, and said, I quit, and I walked out. My sister said, come out to California and get in real estate like us.
That's crazy.
And that's what I did.
That's cool. So where did you end up as an agent?
Well, I was in Modesto for quite a few years. I started at C21 for a short period of time, and then I was hearing about this, office that was number one called PMZ.
Okay.
They didn't hire rookies.
Wow.
So you had to be at another office for a year or two, and then you came over there. So when I was there about a year and a half, I asked them, can I come over? And they said, yeah, and they hired me. And then I was at PMZ for right at 20 years.
Wow, so you had to have experience before you could even step in the door?
Yes, back then.
That's crazy.
But when I went there, then I invented what they now call PMZ University.
Wow.
And because I went to my boss, Mike Segaris, and said, we're hiring people from like C21 and other offices that they don't know anything. They've been in the market 2 years and they can't even write a contract.
Right.
So why don't we just hire them fresh and train them ourselves? He looked at me for about 10 seconds and he said, that's a good idea. And that's what started it.
Wow. So you were real influential in the success of PMZ, I would say.
I'd like to think I helped Mike. When I first started there, he had one office.
Wow.
And I was the 32nd agent.
Mm.
And while I was there, he grew to around 1,700 agents.
Wow.
And with about 16 offices.
Wow.
And I ran 3 different offices. I ran the Riverbank office, then I ran the Oakdale office. Then I came up here to Stockton and ran this one.
And how do you get that kind of like position? Like, what did you had to do as an agent to become a manager or to even be trusted with that responsibility?
Well, luck for one thing. And Mike Segaris knew, he was trying to grow, and he didn't know quite what to do, but he knew my family came from real estate. My sister is who got me into real estate. They're now, pretty well off and retired.
Mm-hmm.
So he would call me into the office and ask me questions. Like, here's another story about PMZ. He still had his one office. He said, I want to grow. How can I grow? I said, build another big office here in Modesto and dominate Modesto, get up to 250 agents. At that time, I think we had about 75 at the one office in Orangeburg, which is the original one. He said, no way, can't get up to 250. I said, yeah, way, you can do it. I have land over there on Carpenter. I said, build it. He did. He built the office. It looks just like the one here in Stockton. And I got to pick my own office when I moved over to that office. So I wasn't thinking about management at the time. I was still too young in the business. But then later on, I just got this premonition that, hey, I want to get into management, and I think I found a niche.
So about how long were you a manager with PMG before you started getting into the broker side?
My own business?
Yeah.
I think it was about right at 9 or 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you put in your time. You put in a good amount of time.
Learned a lot from Mr. Segaris, and I want to give real kudos to Phil Levin, who was my sales manager back then. He's retired now. Hope you see this, Phil. Still love you, buddy. He taught me a lot.
Okay.
And a lot of the things that I kind of talked to you guys about came from either Mike or Phil. And, you know, pay it forward is a big belief I have, and that's what I'm trying to do with you guys.
Mm-hmm. What kind of sparked in your mind that made you want to transition from management at PMZ to starting your own brokerage?
Being pushed out the door. You know, it was in with the young. Mike Segaris was bringing in a new president, this and that. And you could see the movement happening. I saw it at about 4 other offices where the older managers, like more like my age, were for some reason being, you know, like leaving or being pushed out the door or whatever was happening. And I just didn't see it coming, and it happened to me too. And it was just out with the old, in with the new. And then while I was at PMZ, Mike Segaris taught me about opening this kind of office because he had toured one back in New York.
Okay.
And that's where this idea came from. It's worked very well, and I think this is really the coming of the future, because I don't see the large offices surviving with the overhead that they have.
Right.
That's kind of where that came from.
Wow.
No, and I think can you like elaborate just a little bit more? Like what did you change in creating Advance One versus PMZ? Like what was different? What were your plans to do differently?
Well, the big difference was what Mike told me they were doing back in New York. Smaller office, less overhead, able to offer higher commissions to your agents. When you have the large overhead, you can't offer these large commissions because you have to make this much money. Where now, you know, say the big office has to make this much money, I only have to make this much money. So keep the overhead down, offer higher commissions. And how do I compete with the bigger boys, the groupies, the PMZs, the C21s, whoever, by doing this? Because quite frankly, none of them can do this.
Right.
They can't the commission structure you're on. They cannot and will not ever offer that because it's not worth it to them. They're not making any money.
And that's what I was going to ask, because they would essentially be losing money then. Because if they hire their commissions, but then they got all these bills and all these overhead, then
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's all overhead versus profits, and this kind of thing just works. And by the way, this is a pretty popular thing back east. Now we're starting to see it here more and more. We're seeing the EXPs, which don't even have offices.
Right.
We're seeing the the Home Smarts coming in, doing things like that. We're seeing there's all kind of other weird names that I haven't heard of. And sometimes the brokers even out of Houston or somewhere, or Southern California. But that's the trend now. That's the way things are moving. And I'm just lucky that I have it going. Plus I have a great partner that helps out a lot. And, so we push here, good money and good support. And that's basically it. Good money and good support, not all the other things that agents don't use.
Right. And and I love that you pointed that out, because let's kind of talk about that, because as a new agent, I hear other new agents, they're like, oh, my broker's getting me this, they're going to get me leads, and they're also I have all these training and all this curriculum. Can you kind of explain why
accountability partnership?
Yeah, like accountability meetings and things like that. Can you kind of just explain like why that's necessarily taking you away from the business?
Well, number one is the things they offer. You're paying for them for one thing, and I just talked to an agent yesterday from a very large office right around here, and he's told me straight up and down the things that they offer. And I said, are you using those things? No. Are you still paying for them? Yes. So my belief is, I'm not going to offer a CRM out there. I'm not going to offer you this great website, this and that and this and that, because here's what happens too. If you're at one of these large offices and you get that website going within your website within theirs, or your email is really their email.
Right.
When you leave, you are screwed.
You gotta, yeah. I can definitely see that.
Now, you've been doing this for 5 years using their email and their website, and you leave, and they press a button, and you don't exist anymore. So that's why I say over here, I'll give you the money, you spend it on your stuff. And if you left here and was anyplace else, you still have everything that you had to begin with. You didn't miss a beat. You know, so realtors get their business because of them,
right.
not because of us. And the ones that also say they give leads, most of them I know of have already shut down. Yeah, they give leads. Oh, they had 20 agents, now they have 10, now they have 8, now they have 2, now they work somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, I could say I give leads too, and I could go out and purchase those cheap leads, and then after about 6 months, all of you would be saying, those leads weren't any good, I didn't sell one of them. Well, no kidding. I knew that when I gave them to you.
Right.
And that's one thing I knew, like, this was I knew this brokerage was a perfect fit for me, because I knew it was going to, you know, becoming a realtor, there was a different kind of confidence, and there was a different kind of, you know, I'm working for myself. So I already knew no matter where I go, I'm going to be working for myself. But I love how you guys just push you in the water, and then you say, hey, stroke, kick, kick.
Right.
And then instead of giving me these floaties and these buoys and all these things to help me float, you're just like, hey, you eventually get it. It's okay.
Right.
Dust yourself off and try it again. But I love that model.
You know, a broker's frustration is, and we know that this is an 80-20 job.
Yeah.
So 20% of the agents make it, 80 don't. Actually, it might be 90-10. So is that frustrating when I have an agent doesn't make it and they either get out of the business, go back and get a job, or go somewhere else and then don't make it there either? Yes, it is. A boss of mine years ago gave me this little cartoon picture, and I hung it over my desk for a long time. And it was this little pond out in the middle of the desert. And it showed one camel sitting there drinking, showed the other camel right next to the pond dead, because he didn't drink. And so it said on there, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink.
Right.
And that's what I do. And even with David, he comes in frustrated. I said, we're going to lead them to water. If they drink, good. If they don't, they'll be like that one that's laying on the ground. The funny thing is, he's laying on the ground right next to the pond,
right?
And he wouldn't even drink.
He's right there, yeah.
So, you know, and we offer, and you two know it, that we offer the training all the time. How many really take us up on it?
Not a lot.
Hardly any.
Right.
But it's still out there. If you want it, it's there for you. So that's a big thing. Do the other brokers out there, a lot of them, do they, you know, care? Do I care if you're successful? Yes. Do I care if you're successful? Yes. The other broker might say yes, but tell them to prove it.
Right. Definitely.
I'll prove it. You want to start meeting once a week? You want to start meeting every day? Let's do it. I promise you, if we figure out what you're going to do and you do it, you will make money.
Right.
It's that simple in real estate. You know, sales is actually pretty simple. You have to put in a lot of numbers, put up with a lot of frustration and a lot of failure to get that little bit of success. But because the checks are so big, that little bit is nice.
It's lucrative.
Lucrative, great word.
So what's next for us here at Advance One? What you got in the works?
Well, we're probably going to move to another city too. Not move, expand to another city, probably down toward the Manteca area. Here we're going to grow more. We're really kind of, you know, this COVID has held up things. We love having our meetings here where we get together and, you know, just to see your faces.
Right.
You know, like there's half the agents in the office, I haven't seen their face for a while. I don't know what they look like anymore. I teased one the other day. I said, send me a picture. So looking forward to kind of getting back to normal, which I think we got some good news just recently that restaurants are starting to open. Yay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to set out 95 degrees and that smoke and have my happy hour. I want it indoors and the air conditioned.
That's not happy hour.
No, it's not too happy.
Right.
So I think the best thing now is, you know, to get through this and survive. And the open houses will probably come real soon. They will be huge. I'm telling everybody out there that's a realtor, as soon as you can do an open, do it.
Okay.
That's a lot of business to be gotten. There's 5 buyers out there for every seller. They're driving around on weekends looking for a for sale sign. If they see an open house sign, my God, you'll have to get the police out there to traffic them. There will be so many people. So my advice to you realtors, as soon as you can hold open houses, do it. So our advancement is going to be really getting back to normal, and then we're continuing to grow. We've we're talking to quite a few people. We're at 68 agents right now.
Wow.
We hope to grow over 100.
That's cool.
And then Manteca, hopefully toward the end of the year, maybe get down there. And the only reason we're not there yet is flat out laziness by me, and also the COVID. That's my biggest excuse. But
Yeah.
the laziness is the other one.
And that's one thing, like, I'm starting to understand is knowing how to just point that out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about self-confidence, we talk about accountability, but I think that's like one of the biggest thing is like recognizing that flaw, like recognizing it, accepting it, but being able to just slightly, even if it's slightly, just grow from it.
Right.
I
You're
love that.
so right. I mean, good thing for me, I don't have any. Hope my wife's not listening. But yeah, and I just said one of mine is laziness. I'm getting older, so the energy level's not there like it was. But yeah, we have to critique ourselves. We are our own business. Another thing an ex-boss of mine taught me, I'm driving my own bus. By the way, I've never driven a bus, but I guess I'm driving this one.
Yeah.
So, and I heard you used to drive a bus, so you know what I'm talking about. You're driving your own bus, so drive it in the right direction. And that's what we're all doing. This business has no limitations.
Right.
I know people making $300,000. I know people making $10,000.
Right.
Doing the same exact thing, sitting right across from each other. So what's the problem? Is this one that much smarter than the other one? No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think it's just the drive and the commitment, and I guess the biggest thing is maybe the commitment and wanting to do it, because if you came from a job where somebody told you what to do and now you're in a job where you're telling yourself what to do,
yeah,
you might not know what to tell yourself to do.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds crazy, but I've witnessed it for quite a few years.
Right.
And myself too.
No, right. Because I can definitely understand that, because for me, my biggest thing, I don't know why I'm getting better at it, but like I used to always tell myself, I know I can do that. Or I'm not know I can do it. I know I have to do that. So instead of creating a set schedule, okay, this hour I'm going to do this hour I'm going to do that, I'll just be like, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
But then life happens. Wife calls, you pull you this way. Something happens with your kids, you get pulled that way. You forget that you actually scheduled a meeting, so then you get pulled all these different ways, and life happens, and then you like, I didn't have a set schedule. I didn't have anything to follow. So then you're constantly like putting it off on the next day. All right, well, this day I'm going to sit down and really do it. Like, so
Yeah.
that's why I was saying I love, understanding living right now.
The biggest thing about if your spouse has a regular job, they go to work at 8, they come home at 5. Guess who they want at home at 6 o'clock for dinner? Guess who they want at home Friday evening, maybe to take them out to dinner?
Right.
Or on Saturday to go somewhere. Well, we all know in this business, when is the business the best? Evenings and weekends.
Yep.
And that's when the spouse wants you around. So it's a sit down talk you have to have with your spouse and say, do you want us to be successful? Do you want us to live in the nicer house? Do you want us to have the nicer cars? Do you want to have the nicer clothes? Do you want to have the bank account? Do you want to go on the vacations? You're going to have to give and take with me a little bit on this. And fortunately, I have someone like that, and that works. So, but if you don't, and they're pulling you in too many directions, I don't mean, of course they're going to pull you, got something to do with kids and things like that. But if they support you on things like that, it helps a lot.
Definitely.
A lot. So that's a talk, you have to have when you first get into this business.
You know, and it's funny because I feel like I still had that talk, but I don't think even for me, I don't think, you know, even my wife even really anticipated how busy you are, because it's like you answer the phones, you answer the social media, then then you got family calling you, you know, asking you questions, and then you know, which is, don't get me wrong, is you know, it's great to, you know, to educate and help people, but you don't realize how busy you are, especially with this. You know, it's one thing I always love telling my wife is like, it's not going to get easier. I just got my license in February. I just got my first deal in August. I don't want it to get easier. I don't want it to get any smoother. So, and I completely agree with that. And, you know, it was the same thing with my wife in law school. When she started, people say, hey, you know, a lot of people, you know, they get rocky, but that's what I wanted for her. And so you got to support each other.
And you know, example I can give, I was training this agent who, by the way, now is very successful, makes 6 digits. He makes $150 a year or more. He came to me right at the beginning and he said, so how much time should I put into prospecting? And then I think the book says, 30% of your time. I looked at him and said, you have any escrows going? Have anything going? No. I said, how about 100?
Right.
You know, how about do this until you can start dividing your time, because you don't have anything going on.
Right.
Don't give time to do other things that aren't there. Well, I'm going to take care of my escrows. What escrows?
Right.
I'm going to go out to the pest report. What pest report? You don't have anything going on.
Right.
So put it all into prospecting, then you can start dividing it as it happens. That will help you kind of designate your times. You know, but at the beginning, prospecting.
Yeah.
Number one, no matter what. I don't care if you have 5 escrows going. I got to go to this report. I got to go or do this report or go to this inspection or do this. That's not making you any money.
Right.
That next client is the one making you money. I sometimes will go to inspections, sometimes not. Why do I want to be there?
Right. I
might see something that I have to disclose.
No, and I had that exact situation. Like I thought I was in this panic, and that's why I love this brokerage. But like, you know, I thought I had this panic, like, oh no, you know, my buyer's house was broken into, and
I remember that.
And so I'm like blowing up Richard, like, help, like, what do I do? And then Richard said, well, why are you going?
Stay away from there.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, as he's telling me, I'm like turning my car around, like, okay, because
Not your client's house yet.
So I was very thankful. Like, I got you on the phone before then, and you know, I can't, you know, thank you enough for, you know, I met Richard through social media. It's funny because I thought you were an agent. You know, he was offering. You know, I was asking, you know, for open houses. You know, I can do open house for you, yada yada. And you know, Richard's like, hey, I got tons of open houses for you. And I'm like, oh, cool. And he was like, come meet with me. Right. I'm like, okay, yeah. Just don't even know. But you know, I'm very thankful. You know, I explained my situation to you. I'm a straightforward guy, so you told me like it is. You know, no matter where I go, I'm going to make more money here because I don't want to say bloodsuckers, but it's like I don't have all these fees and all these dues, you know. Hey, I put in my work, I put in my time.
Sounds like bloodsuckers to me.
Yeah, because that's
or we could call it money suckers,
right?
Because it's like it's so much, right? I have a friend that's a realtor, great friend, great guy, but he tells me all these things he has to do. Oh, I got this homework, or I got this accountability meeting, I got these things, and I'm just like, when have you put in that time to prospect? Okay, social media is one thing. Have you called your speaker? Have you called the first 25 people that you can think of? You know, and it's like one thing I like I said, when I came into this business, I understood it's all on me. You know, and I love that because that's why I found my passion. You know, I did the customer service, yada yada, and it was like, okay, I found that I could help people, and I don't know, man, like how can we help people just understand, like, get your money, like get everything you can, because this is not easy. I don't care what nobody says. Real estate as an agent is not easy. You have to put in the time.
Well, it's so emotional. I mean, you can be rich with your 3 or 4 escrows, and then 3 days later, when 3 or 4 fell out, you're poor. You know, and then where's your emotions? Well, I'm happy as a lark. Oh, life sucks.
Yeah.
You know, all within 1 week. And then that's why I always said, do the numbers. If you have one escrow and one escrow falls out, you went from okay to zero. Zero is a number you don't want to be at in real estate ever. Zero money, zero escrow, zero leads. None of those are any good.
Right.
So always stay above that zero. Zero's our enemy. And you know, you just have to keep going for it. But remember, make prospecting number one. And even when you have escrows, I mean, I've watched agents many times. I have 3 escrows going. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be when they close?
Right.
Well, I'm not going to be very busy.
Right.
Because you didn't go out, you didn't prospect. That's why we have transaction coordinators.
I was just
people
about to
like
say that. I was just going to say
they
that.
take care of the, let's call it for us, the $20 an hour work.
Mm-hmm.
We should be out doing the $50 to $100 an hour work.
Right.
And that's getting clients and selling homes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you've already realized that. You're already using the transaction coordinator early.
Yep.
It took my boss a long time to get me to use it because they were just introducing them. And I can do that.
Yeah.
And then when my file got rejected all the time, it's like, maybe I can't do that. Maybe I better get somebody to help me.
Yeah.
And it was good because then, you know, most people don't like doing paperwork. If you're a good salesperson, you don't like the paperwork part.
Right.
For $300 or $400, let somebody else take care of that.
Right.
So that's something to look at too. You want to get to the point to where you're getting busy enough to where you want a transaction coordinator.
Right.
I know at the beginning you don't because you're closing one and you need all that money. I
Yeah.
get that. But then when you're at that next level, then try to swap over as soon as you can.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about the great commission splits we have
Yeah.
here. There might be some agents that might be watching that may be thinking about
Switching.
coming over here.
Okay, well, that was a big one that came up. Here I am competing with, a lot of, let's call them the big boys that have money, and most of them are franchise or at least act like they're franchise.
Yeah.
So how do I compete? Well, again, going back to that model of the smaller office where I can offer better commissions. I can't compete with these other offices, say, do I have $1 million to put into my office? I do not. So the commissions are based on, because I keep my overhead low, I can offer commissions that, again, the other bigger offices can't. Thus, that's why you two are here. And thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And that's how you separate yourself. I watch these little brokers, they open their own office and then they think they're gonna offer the commissions like at where they came from, a bigger office.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't have things to offer. You don't even have a nice building, you don't have anything, but you want the same money as the bigger boys?
Right.
You're not gonna get it. So give you back your money, let you do with it what you wanna do, and I keep my overhead low enough to where I'm still profiting and doing okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I compete. And that seems to be a trend that's going on a lot. I've been reading articles about Brookshire, which, by the way, is having problems, and also what they do back east.
Mm-hmm.
They've started doing this. They're taking 3,000 square foot buildings, bringing them down to 1,200, still with the same amount of agents in it. So isn't that kind of the same idea that we're already doing here?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going on a lot. And that's kind of how I'm able to offer great commissions. We only offer 3 commission splits. If you start off at 0 to 5 sales, you're at 80%, with a $154 fee. If you sell 6 to 7 homes, you're at 90% with a $154 fee.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sell 7 homes plus, you're at 100%, $129 a month, and $154 per closing. I just explained our entire commission structure.
Simple.
I can name offices out there that I would have been pulling out a book to show you how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they have it that way? So they can hide all the fees in there and you don't see it. I won't name names, but we have talked about them already.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The agent is, I had one agent the other day tell me, well, I'm happy at my 85%. I said, you better look at your next check. You're nowhere near 85%. that you're at 85%, but with this fee, this fee, this fee, this fee, and this fee per month, add that up and see where that brings you down. I think you're more like at about 65.
Yeah.
And that's, I just had an agent I talked to from one of these companies.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm at 65%. By time, and he's added it up, he said, by the time I get my check, I'm at 53%.
And I just gotta let my audience know is like you're giving that much away when you do 100% of the work, when
Right.
you're independent contracting, and it's all on you. And that's the whole reason why I got into this business and why I enjoy it. I love being able to, hey, I gotta go get my kids. I'm not going to say freedom. You don't get no freedom in this business.
Flexibility.
The flexibility. Yeah, that's a perfect word how to say it. But yeah, man, I just, I know I'm in the right field because it's so enlightening. It's so just, I don't know. I love, the information I get back from my clients when they I just get excited when you talk about, helping me buying a home or helping me sell a home, like just the energy that I have because this is my passion. I feel like I'm going to automatically, because I'm going to work hard and do what I got to, I'm going to fit in that 20%. Or like you said, maybe even 10% now.
You will. The energy's there. Good things are happening. You're doing a lot of positive things. Just be patient and it's coming. Be patient slightly, but not too patient. Don't go home and sit down and just wait.
No,
That's not
right,
gonna happen.
right. So I just sitting waiting for it. No, I was beating myself up one day. I was like, man, I thought I had this listing and this happened, and I thought I had this and this happened, and Anthony looked me straight in my face, man. Like looked me deep in my face and was like, just be patient, man. Like just be patient, and. I don't want to get all into it, but with my relationship with God, that's one of the things I feel like he's talking to me. It's just, it's okay. Be patient. Don't have, because that's what faith is, right? Is having faith that this will work out. This is where I am.
That's right. The things that take us down, don't get me wrong, I'm as guilty of that as probably both of you put together.
Mm-hmm.
Is being patient, but then moving forward.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Always. And I would love to end the show this way is positive or negative is the same result. It's always forward, and I love, I think that's very big in this field. It's funny because we always go back because me and him, we have these conversations is, I was talking about a client that I had and not in a bad way, but just, expressing, and Anthony was like, who else you talking to? Like, right. don't get consumed and stuck on this one lead. There's a billion people out here. There's enough people out here that's interested, that wants to buy or wants to be educated. Yeah. And it's okay to just, hey, nice meeting you, but you're not for me and my business. And I love having you, man. I love that advice that you give me.
I love the culture over here, period.
And, and I love that you say that because I feel like every agent, I feel like we all have the same personality. We all have a sense of humor. We all know how to joke. We all know how to take a joke. And I love this family here.
It does help relieve the pressure. You guys know my saying because it's usually on that whiteboard right out there.
Sir.
Put in the numbers, know how to close, success.
Yep.
If you keep it simple like that, good things will happen.
Don't complicate it.
It's already complicated. Don't
right.
make it worse.
Don't make it.
Richard cracks me up. Richard's hilarious. I just want to put this on the show. Richard says, other than my name, you can put that on my grave. Put in numbers, know how to close. Right. And I was like, it's funny because I could see that. Richard Hundley, put in the numbers, know how to close. And guys, that's basically what it is. That can apply to everything, anything.
Any sales for sure.
Any sales. Yeah. Put in those numbers. Play for those ads. Call those people. Do what you got to do to get your business where you want it to be. This is from the bottom to the top. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. You guys have a great one.
Watching.
Oh, that was lovely.